We're not even live yet. And
in the halls where the whispers gather, conservative minds debate the future. From tax cuts to border walls, strategies clash like a political rally. Frustration brews in the chambers, as always meet new challenges. Dissenting voices rise up, seeking unity, but finding divides. We stand strong, we stand tall. In this party our spirit will not fall. Though the path is rocky and long, we march forward with hearts full of song. Policies debated, votes cast. In the shadows some doubts are fast, yet the fire of conviction burns bright, fueling hope making the dark night light. Frustration brews in the chambers, as old ways meet new challenges. Dissenting voices rise up, seeking unity, but finding divides. We stand strong, we stand tall. In this party our spirit will not fall. Though the path is rocky and long, we march forward with hearts full of song. Through the storm we'll find our way.
I like it.
You had a guitar riffs in there.
That's right, baby. Rebel Republic. That was a minute and 52 seconds right there. Glory.
You went a hard 80s battle. Hard 80s battle.
Well, this is Rebel Republic, and Coach Schumann has decided to create such an intense and inspirational rock theme song. I felt like I was listening to fucking Gore. Wow.
It felt like I was in 1989.
That's right.
Our political correspondent on the ground in Turkey or Ukraine or Russia. We're not exactly sure where he is.
Definitely in Turkey right now.
Tyler King's our political correspondent. He's on the ground. He's risking his life for us to get us the news that's going on.
Oh.
And then
he's in Istanbul.
The voice of reason, Frank Cristiano.
That was Rebel Republic, brought to you by Rat.
Yeah. Tyler King, how's everything on the ground where you are? You feel safe? He looks like he's in camo right now.
I found Allie tucked away. I'm pretty good right now. It's been pretty quiet night. There's been no bombing runs, so I think we'll be okay.
Is the shawarma good in Istanbul?
His car is parked. He looks like he's in there.
You know what? The shawarma's okay when they do a donor. When they make it to a donor, it's pretty good.
You sure you're not in a Walmart parking lot?
No,
There's a huge light right behind you.
That's not a light.
That's my interior light of my car. Of the car I bought. Well, traded rather for a couple gold coins.
He's in the pressmobile.
He looks like he's in the middle of the fucking woods.
Yes, his press.
It's great. It's great to have Tyler. So I wanted to bring this up. This was the news of the day so far. President Trump turned to social media to sell Americans on his vision for the big, beautiful bill, calling it an opportunity to turn the U.S. around after what he called 4 disastrous years under former President Biden. The House passed the spending bill in late May, and now it's in the Senate's hands. They're taking a massive step to balancing our budget by enacting the largest mandatory spending cut ever. And Americans will get to keep more of their money with the largest tax cut ever. No longer taxing tips, overtime, Social Security for seniors, something 80 million voters supported in November. So this bill seems to be huge, and a lot of people are supporting it. Frank, what are your thoughts on this, the big, beautiful bill?
Well, I mean, it got through the House
because of Mike
Very
Johnson.
easily.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, it wasn't easy. I mean, basically they voted over the weekend on it and came back, and here's the bill passing on to the Senate. Now the Senate will be harder, but I do think it'll get done. There'll be a unanimous vote by the Senate, but it's going to take time. There are a few senators.
Really?
They're spending hawks, and they want more cuts in certain areas. I'm sure they want more perks in certain areas too for their constituents before they're going to pass. But I think you'll see some amendments to it. You'll see it brought back. You'll see it approved, and then you'll see it pass through.
And it'll make a difference.
Think about it right now. The Republican Party is like a freight train.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
But all of a sudden, you don't get this bill passed, and you've gone right back to what happened in 2017.
Just like that.
2017.
That's the importance of this bill.
2017, they had a majority in the House and in the Senate, and they couldn't get anything accomplished because everybody had to put their 2 cents in.
Oh.
But I think this time around, they kind of understand that their own personal jobs are on the line, because if you don't align with Donald Trump, you won't have a job.
You won't have a job. Dave, what are your thoughts on the big, beautiful bill?
Sounds fantastic.
I mean, it's supposed to be life-changing and reverse the 4 years of hell we've been in. Do you think that it's going to pass through the Senate?
I think
clean?
it will pass. I think people want it. I think it's some of the things that we need. And it's another example of Donald Trump holding true to what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Tyler, you're on the ground there in Istanbul. According to this, it's also going to kick illegals off of Medicaid and make sure that SNAP is focused on Americans only. It will also restore choice and affordability for car purchases by repealing Biden's EV mandate. I don't know what that means.
Electric vehicle.
Okay.
So
what's it going to repeal?
Well, the mandate said that certain areas by state have to be
long
electric.
story short, Biden was subsidizing EV programs and manufacturing costs through, I forget which bill it was, Dave, you might know. But long story short, Trump's repealing that. There's going to be no tax breaks for car companies on the electric cars. That's the really big part of it. And citizens that have electric cars, I do not know if they will still get the electric car tax break, but it's going to focus more on creating tax breaks for the automotive industry.
So you're saying that all of us were supposed to be driving electric cars by a certain point?
Well, that's the plan. That was the plan under that Biden administration.
Actually a legitimate
That's
point
insane.
In the Biden administration. They were pushing electric cars hard, and obviously the Trump administration pushes the car companies and try to make them more profitable. So that's bad point of contention.
I don't want to drive an electric car.
What we all need
What
we all need to do right now on this program is stop saying the Biden administration.
Yeah,
we all know through talk and through actual facts that Joe Biden was doing nothing.
No, he ate ice
doing
cream
his
cone.
4 years. Right. So bottom line, we need to call this the Jill Biden administration.
Dr.
Jill.
Do you know that she was part of the committee?
Yeah, she was part
of the Hunter Biden administration. Maybe it's Hunter Biden's administration.
Stop, Frank. Frank, it definitely wasn't the Hunter Biden administration.
I know. Whose cocaine is this in the White House? Oh my God, I don't know whose coke this is in the White House. Hunter Biden just showed up yesterday. How could this can't be his? This can't be his.
Wait a second, Dave. Was Hunter Biden actually like part of this, like making decisions that affected our lives?
Possibly.
Dave?
Possibly.
What's your question?
But was Hunter Biden really part of this group that like was making decisions affecting our lives? Hunter fucking Biden?
I don't think Hunter was making decisions. He was too busy getting high.
But they listed
the last 2 months. The last 2 months of administration, he was.
All right, Dave.
That
real
scares
quick,
me to death.
Dave, let me ask you this: you think Hunter was never a messenger for Joe?
Oh no, he
Ever?
was. That's how the money
Ever?
came in.
Ever?
Yeah,
He
that's how the money
was?
came in. Absolutely. Well, he's the one that would go over to
China?
going over to Ukraine, and
Yeah, the big guy.
So you're telling
thing-
me Hunter Biden funded his father's administration or campaign or
No,
what?
no, no, no,
No,
no, no.
okay.
He went out and garnered millions and millions of dollars using his dad's position and power.
correct.
Yep.
That's terrible. So he lied or he just used his dad to,
But
to
that's
get
all.
wealth?
That's all hearsay,
To
Steve.
gain wealth.
That's all hearsay.
Was he
None of
No,
that's
no, no.
true.
Yeah.
Wasn't he
Steve, you're saying that,
prosecuted for it?
not us. Steve, you're saying that, not us.
Was he
Why-
prosecuted for it?
No, no. Why would they,
They
do
just
that?
let him do that?
Why would they do that? Who could prosecute him? There was no majority in the House of the Senate during
Right,
Biden's administration. The Republicans had nothing, and all they had were committees.
Yeah, no, I know.
Tell me who goes to jail on all these committees.
No, I would put them all in jail.
Yeah, right.
I would
but
put them all in
unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Politicians do not put politicians in jail
No, they don't.
because they don't want to be thrown in jail along with the mess.
No,
Right.
they don't. There's also been some pushback against Doge. The White House has submitted its first recessions packet against Doge. Spending cuts to Congress. The House representatives should immediately move this to the floor for swift passage. A Freedom Caucus position person said. The House Freedom Caucus strongly supports these critical recessions and will support as many more recession packages as the White House can send.
So,
in the
Steve,
coming weeks.
Tyler corresponded in Istanbul. Has there been a near miss with a rocket launch right there? It may have landed right by. I see a bunch of smoke coming near your
I
car.
know, right?
I didn't know if that was a rocket that landed nearby and caused a little
Be
fire.
careful.
So,
I
I mean,
mean,
is this true?
A couple blocks down, there was a rocket, like, I think 4 or 5 blocks down.
Is this true that they're pushing it back against Doge and trying to get cuts?
Well,
to stop.
Of course, listen, of course they are, because everything that's coming through Doge is making giant cuts to every
Yeah, government.
fringe program, every fringe program, and every more leftist program is
Yes.
getting cut right now, and
Right.
a lot of those programs are pretty corrupt. So
Oh,
there's a lot of pushback all across the left about these programs. We're talking, and they're playing the side of saying we're going to build wells in sub-Saharan Africa, and a lot of that money is going to keeping sympathetic politicians in power. So,
really?
yeah,
That's
what do you
disgusting.
think that Doge is going to?
Dave, what are
Coming
your
from
thoughts on this?
Coming from a Democratic senator.
Your thoughts on this, Doge, Dave? The pushback?
Pushback against Doge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised. Well, I'm not
you're
surprised. But
Listen. I think Doge overall.
I think it's done well. I just
Yeah.
it should be slowing down a
Doge is
little bit,
not
right?
done well. They spend way too much money on
No, they did.
programs that were absurd.
But Doge uncovered them at least. That's the point I'm saying. Doge did a pretty good job at finding
Yeah,
the money
a fairly good
that was
job,
being wasted.
But
You still
what are we
think
gonna
there's more to
now
do?
as far as getting real consequences from that?
I agree. There should be consequences. But Dave, what do you think on that? Do you think there will be consequences for the people that kind of took advantage and just
No.
spent millions on circumcisions in Ethiopia?
No, I think there'll be nothing will happen.
So Doge is doing a good job cutting the money,
Yes,
but as far as consequences for the people in charge,
I think it'll be-
nothing's going to happen.
Nope.
But-
I think Doge has done a good job of that, and I don't know what happens to Doge post Elon Musk.
Right.
Because there's a lot of blocking of the money that he wants to get rid of and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see the. I did see the. I know he did a press conference when he was stepping down. I didn't see that, but
Wait, he stepped down.
Elon,
Yeah.
yeah, he stepped
Elon
down.
Musk stepped down.
Yeah, he'll be involved in some small capacity right now, but he's got to go back to his companies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
And that was agreed upon when he first took the job.
So that was the plan all along.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, because I thought he was part of the administration.
No,
good.
No,
it's not
they created this. They created this department,
Right, I know they did.
and there are still
But
people working in that
It
department.
always existed, allegedly. It just was under a different name.
No, it was under a different name, and it was controlled by politicians that were supposed to, and organizations controlled by politicians.
Yeah.
That are going to go in and do investigations, which are going to end up being nothing,
Right.
because they're not going to go in. Now, what
And like, when
needs
you
to-
like look at it, this is actually a pretty stupid move because it removes Elon from the equation, and a new head of Doge will be introduced. Who, I mean, I have no idea who that will be, but whole new set of circumstances.
Yeah. Has it been announced who's replacing?
No, I haven't heard anything like that at all. But what I'm saying is that to be a more effective agency, they need to actually put their savings not just on a website. They need to put it into action and show it on paper and show it being done.
Correct.
And I think there's supposedly $175 billion that they ended up cutting, and because you have to realize until they can prove that they've cut these departments that they're saying that are most of the DEI stuff is the ones that they've said they've gone in and found.
Well, you can't say DEI.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is you have to look at media reporting in two ways. So I just Googled it because I love Googling it because it'll give me an idea of what the large scale media wants you to look at, and it'll give you what the small. So for AI overview of what Doge has cut, 100,000 employees in the civil service workforce, billions of dollars in contracts canceled. Doge also terminated leases and grants across the country, impacting agencies like the Social Security Administration and the Department of Veterans Affairs. So basically, AI is telling me what every liberal person is telling me in this country. Then you go to Fox News and you Google what has Doge cut so far, and they'll say that they've slashed every DEI. So there's always
it's slanted,
right?
The narrative.
So every story has three sides.
Three,
right? Yeah, it's got, for politics, it has the left, it has the right, and then it has the truth. So what Doge needs to do is get to the truth, the meat and potatoes of what they've cut, show it being cut in this budget, right? And getting the confidence of everyone who voted for this, and also to put a slap in the face of everyone that's criticizing it, saying, well, I don't see anything, so obviously nothing happened, they wasted their time.
Dave, you're muted. Dave, can you tell me what Chat DBT says about Doge? Because Chat GBT is always right.
What about it?
Just about its effectiveness and what it's accomplished since its reign of terror began, according to the liberals. Because it's sad that Elon's stepping down. I thought Elon did a good job. I thought he knew what he was doing.
Well, he's been a good voice and a good reference point to show the abuse that has happened by this past administration. Right, as far as pushing a lot of funding and a lot of resources to the DEI agenda and to the illegal immigration agenda.
So, Dave, what does it say for Chat GBT?
What does it say? It's claimed achievements.
Okay, I agree.
Financial savings, $160 billion through measures terminating over 10,000 contracts, canceling grants, reducing leases. Workforce reduction, claimed 12% reduction in federal workforce, equating to 260,000 jobs. Agency overall, significant restructuring occurred in agencies like USAID and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Let's see.
So it's a little more accurate.
Controversies. Analysis suggests that actual savings may be significantly lower. Legal concerns, multiple lawsuits, privacy laws, blah, blah, blah. Operating inefficiencies.
Well, the immigration stuff, yeah.
I mean, really not too much, you know.
But I mean, you believe overall Doge was great for us. Like it saved us money. It found
It
irregular
jumpstarted the
spending.
process to me.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I think he made a statement.
Well, the greatest thing it's done, it's opened up our eyes to what's really going on behind closed doors,
Where the
behind
money's going.
with administrations, how they're actually laundering money. They've actually found a way.
Laundering?
Of course, they're laundering money.
You're saying our government's been this is laundering money?
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm not saying every dollar. I'm saying a lot of the money being sent out to these organizations around the world are being the money's going in. Yeah.
Like we all accept that from all the money sent to Ukraine, a significant number of it was laundered back to U.S. politicians.
Oh my God! Wow.
Maybe 10 to 15% of the money gets spent in the right to have a front. It's called a front. The mob used to do it.
Well, yeah,
they would have an olive oil. They would have an olive oil company, and we would sell you olive oil in the front, and then we take all the olive and we send them in. We take the money in the back,
like Satriali.
What I'm trying to say is that a lot of the money ended up going to third-party companies that you can't even trace anymore, and then they divvy up the money and send it out. And of course, people that approve these bills and people that sign onto these bills are the ones that are getting some sort of payment back to them.
Oh, the kickbacks.
That's laundered money.
Thanks, Steve.
I got you. So Tyler, this involves you somewhat. Boulder, Colorado, domestic terrorism suspect spent a year planning to hurl Molotov cocktails into a peaceful pro-Israel march. Court documents revealed Mohammed Salbeh Salman, an Egyptian national whose visa was granted during the Biden administration.
Tyler, we're going to have to send you to Cairo next week.
Expired in March of 2025, told federal authorities that the violence was a long time in the making. So this man was planning to hurl Molotov cocktails at a pro-Israeli peaceful march. Dave, I mean, you're
planned. He did it.
He did it. Yeah, Dave, you're
he set people on fire.
You're Israeli. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Well, I mean, you're Jewish somewhat.
You're Israeli. You're Mossad.
I know you're Palestinian. You're Polynesian.
You're Palestinian. You are Dave.
No,
you're a wait a minute. Dave is a Palestinian Jew.
No, he's a Polynesian
You're in such
Jew.
You're in compliment.
You said that.
We'll shine their wisdom, we'll endure.
Where is that?
Guy's there. He's right there.
No, he left the show.
We stand
he's right
strong,
there.
we stand tall. In this party, our spirit will not fall.
He just left the show.
I just want to know your thoughts that this guy threw Molotov cocktails at Jewish people.
It's absurd. This is
Yeah.
the big problem with letting. I think the guy was an illegal or whatever.
Yes,
Yep.
he was.
Yeah.
I mean, this is part of the overall problem that.
And Biden granted the visa.
Like, why are these people in our country? Get them the fuck out of our country. Okay?
Yeah.
Get them the fuck out. Like, we don't need people don't
whoever. What was his country of origin?
Egypt.
He was Egyptian.
How long you been in the United States?
He's been for a while, I think. He's been here.
No, yeah, I think he was in since 2021 or 22. He's on a visa. It expired after 6 months.
Well, it's said that this plan has been ongoing for a year. He's been in the country since 2021.
21,
yes.
Yep.
So
listen, I think it's all started with not cracking down on these college kids. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the first part of the whole thing.
Right. Like one of the things that need to be considered, some of our most reputable academic institutions have been infiltrated by this
absolutely
completely opposite way of thinking.
They have?
But
Well,
that's been a course of 40 or 50 years, though. Don't get me wrong.
No,
other than Columbia, I mean, like Harvard, Yale, Princeton,
all of them.
They do.
Yeah.
They all have
Harvard is the worst.
Harvard's the worst out of all of them.
Yes, it's as bad as
Yeah,
Columbia. It's worse than Columbia.
Bro, let me tell you, Harvard's had an agenda since 10 years ago.
So, Dave, are they pro Israelis or are they not pro Israeli?
The university
Very
is not
pro-Israeli.
They're allowing things to happen that are absurd. And listen, I think the far left believes completely in Hamas.
They do. No, but they do. Yeah.
Wrong.
I don't know why people listen. Like,
I say shit, but not wrong.
I don't even consider like anymore at this point. Like, this isn't even like a thing where it's flat out like people aren't hiding it anymore. They're telling you. When people tell you what they believe and who they are, believe them.
Listen,
believe them.
They are all these institutions and a lot of these students and a lot of the people that are funding the students. They are pro-Jewish money. They want the Jews' money, but they are pro-Arab agenda. Basically, that's what it is.
Pro my agenda.
Your agenda. They are Arab. They're pro-Arab agenda, but they are pro-Jewish money. See, wow, everybody was up in arms and riled up and ready to burn down everything until they said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to take away federal funding." Well, when federal funding goes,
that changed everything.
When federal funding goes, so does funding from large Jewish donors to these colleges.
Yes,
a lot of them, starting at Bill Ackman and all the way down to all these guys on Wall Street. So, bottom line, they're not going to give them money either.
His money, I think.
But. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for saying that. So I didn't have to.
Holy crap!
Listen, I look at this because I'm a born again Christian who does. My father is Jewish,
and you believe in forgiveness.
So, I believe in Jesus Christ, and but I understand different points of view from this standpoint. The one point of view that I believe is completely aligned. Listen, are there really nice people that are Muslim? Absolutely. They're great. There's no doubt.
Four of them.
You have to be the thing that we don't want to ever decipher, and it drives me absolutely fucking bonkers, okay, is the difference between the fact that there are terrorists there is an overwhelming 99% of the terrorists in the world are of Muslim descent. Like
99%?
99%. 99. There might be. We want to point out, the one domestic terrorist that did this at one time. 99%. Now, it doesn't mean that all Muslim people are terrorists. It means that they have a terrorist problem in the religion. Okay?
Well, I'm not Muslim. Okay.
They don't want to address it. They don't want to address it. What religion besides Islam says that you could go to heaven for taking out infidels? Name me a religion.
Buddhist. I've seen monks. No, don't lie. No. The monks have strapped bombs to their chests and they've run into these temples, blowing everyone up.
The Japanese people. What about the kamikazes? They used to fly their planes in the shit.
That was wartime.
Yeah. So that had nothing to do with religion.
Nothing to do with religion.
Oh,
that was their order.
Does Christianity say take out infidels? Does Jews say take out infidels?
What is an infidel?
Buddhists say take out infidels? No, they don't.
Okay. Someone who's not loyal to the cause.
Steve, an infidel is anyone who does not believe what you believe.
Oh, well, then I'd be mad at everyone. Nobody believes what I believe. So there's religions that say like you get points for taking out infidels. You're telling me the Muslim religion rewards you for taking out infidels.
The extreme interpretation of the Quran, Okay, because it's the people who take the Quran.
Literally.
Well, I mean, listen. Have you looked at the women? They walk around; they're covered up. Okay.
Yes.
That was they didn't like make that up. They didn't make it up.
No, it's written in the Quran.
Turn around and say they interpreted the Quran. All right, Sharia law to be. This is
the Sharia law thing you
this
mentioned.
Is how we should interpret it. Okay, I'll use an example on another religious side. Hasidic Jews dress a certain way because their interpretation of the Bible and how Jews should be is that addressed a certain way. Well, the difference is that interpretation on the extreme side of Islam is dangerous to the world. The extreme side of it, okay, is dangerous. And the thing is that it gets I don't know how you would say it, commingled with saying they commingle it with like Palestinians' plight for to have their own state. It's commingled together, and that's where the problems start to begin. Like, there's no ability to say Hamas has to be out. This is a terrorist organization. Okay, let's address what do the Palestinian people post Hamas want to happen. Okay,
they don't have any plan.
You can't get there because you don't get rid of the terrorists.
I've never gone to Catholic church where the pastor has told me, if you would go in with a bomb into a building and kill the infidels that are against Catholicism, you will be rewarded with 72 virgins when you get to heaven.
No, you're 100% right.
That's really
and listen, let's go back to like let's go. People like to point out and they say, okay, the Catholics when they went on the Crusades, right? Yeah. That the Holy War, Islam. No, there are things that the Crusades did wrong, but the Crusades was fighting Islam takeover of the world.
Yeah, it was.
That's what they were fighting.
Yes, that's what the Crusades were.
People don't. That's Islam had pushed deep into all the way across Europe, across Asia. Okay, and
Islam was that popular back then?
There's been multiple
popular. Steve is an ancient religion.
Wow.
Yeah, there's been so that became a battle. That's a different battle than the battle in the Middle East. Okay, but that became a battle as it pushed across Europe, and that's why you had the Crusades.
Wow.
And they would say, the argument would be were the Crusades barbaric and how they took people out, and then they were. There was then there were things that the Crusades did that were bad too, but the original big fight was against Islam pushing them out.
Right. That's how it all started.
What is Islam's overall goal as a religion? Is Islam's overall goal to coincide with Judaism and Christianity and Buddhists? No.
Take over the entire world.
That's really Islam. That's really what
are you Lebanese?
Yeah,
so you're like
Catholic.
You're a pseudo-Palestinian.
I'm a Catholic Lebanese.
You're a pseudo-Palestinian.
Yes, you're a Catholic Lebanese. You know why you're here in America?
Because I'm Catholic.
Because they pushed you out.
Well, they would have if I was
Christians out of Lebanon.
They did? I thought Lebanon's half and half right now.
Was it somebody pouring into your coffee?
No, I thought Lebanon was half Catholic, Catholicism, Christianity, and half Islam. Yeah. I thought it was half good and half bad. I didn't know that.
A bad thing. It has to do with what the religious doctrine states.
So you're telling me Lebanon would prefer to be an Islamic state?
It doesn't matter what they prefer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's who's in power.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's in power? Like right now, you're saying Lebanon would
is Lebanon where the Houthis are, or is that where is no. The Houthis are the Houthis are in
Yemen.
Yemen.
They're in Yemen, so they're south of Saudi Arabia. They're on the bottom of that peninsula.
Holy crap!
Majority of the population identifying as Muslim, 53.5%, basically.
Hezbollah is Lebanon.
And Christian population around 41%.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Hezbollah's in Lebanon.
Hezbollah,
I know Hezbollah. I know the PLO, all that stuff. Yeah, that's
the PLO.
There is no PLO anymore.
No, there isn't PLO.
Yasser Arafat's dead.
Yes, Arafat's dead.
Yasser Arafat was the PLO. Yasser Arafat, compared to what you have now, is like choir boy.
Right.
So there were a couple questions that came in because we talked about the Original Sin thing book last week. Wanting to know what would be happening right now if Biden was or Harris was in power and Putin was doing.
I can't get past the fact that you don't even know that you're your own country that you're from, like what is actually going on.
No, I knew that we were Catholic. I knew that we were Christian. I just thought we were 50-50. I thought that there were good Lebanese people and bad Lebanese people.
Who's good and who's bad?
Well, the Christians are the good people.
Really?
Yeah.
What, you're saying Muslims are bad?
I didn't know that they pushed the Muslim. I didn't know that they pushed the Christians out.
It's not that Muslims are bad people. It's what the doctrine of the religion, that the extreme elements who have control over most of the people. Yes,
exactly.
They enforce the power on the people.
The Pope was like Yasser Arafat.
Oh well, if you put it that way, that's not good. That's well. At least I'm not though. But so the questions came from Original Sin. What would be happening if Harris were in power or Biden, God forbid, were in power and Putin did what he did last week and invaded Russia? What do you think would have happened?
Wait, what?
Putin did the same thing.
Putin, he broke the peace doctrine and started attacking the Ukraine.
Ukraine. Oh, you said Russia.
I'm sorry. What do you think?
I got you rattled, Steve. I know. I'm sorry.
You do. What would Harris or Biden have done in that situation?
Cry? I don't know. Cry?
They would have done nothing.
There's soup in the morning.
Except
I don't
Trump.
know.
Nothing.
Deeper in Russia right now.
At least this president is trying to negotiate.
Yeah,
knocking on the door, promising things. Hopefully, he can get accomplished. Wanting to be able to bring peace. Every time he talks about this war, he says there are thousands every day dying. Unnecessary. Young men, old men. Yeah. I mean, they're on the battlefield. Civilians in the streets getting bombed. I mean, at least he's there saying we're trying for peace. We want to have peace. We understand there's got to be a give and take on both sides. We don't want to be taken advantage of as a third party coming in. We want to be able to hold our ground too as to what our needs are coming out of this negotiation as well, and what the needs of NATO is, and what the needs of Ukraine are. So you don't just walk in one day, roll some dice, and all of a sudden it's over. See, the people that are criticizing are just taking Trump. Oh, he said he's going to end the war. The first lady is in there.
Not going to be tomorrow.
It doesn't work that easy. But you know what? He's working at it. He's trying. What did the Biden administration do? They sent more weapons.
Yeah, that's all they did.
They sent more weapons. They sent more money and more weapons.
I think part of it is Trump said if I was in power, I went over one day. Meaning if he had been in power when all this bullshit started.
No, I know. If he was in power,
he says it would never happen.
Got that far.
Steve, there's 40% Lebanese Christians.
Right. In Lebanon, yes.
60%.
Well, he said it was 53. Yes.
It's 60% or close to 60%.
Okay. Well, I'm the good kind.
It's controlled by Hezbollah.
I'm the good kind.
So what? The Palestinians, they're Islam, right? They're Muslim. They're Islam. They're fundamentalists.
Most are Muslim.
I don't know. You don't know. Doesn't mean the Palestinians are fundamentalists because they're Palestinian.
It doesn't automatically.
Hamas,
right?
Our religion
is a fundamentalist group. Hamas is a fundamentalist group.
Most Palestinians right now are just trying to survive.
They just want food.
They are shields. They are fodder for the cannon. They're basically they're basically there to take the place of the true Hamas leaders who don't want to stick their face out the battleground.
Yeah,
they don't want to get killed.
So they use the human shields.
And what happens again? Well, and the media is not totally wrong because they're showing sides of it that are really tragic when you're looking at this.
Yes.
But what happens when you use civilians? When you use civilians and civilian casualties, all of a sudden the media will take it and turn it. Right now, here's the story that you got to look at. There were 21 aid workers in this new round of bringing supplies to the Palestinians. 21 aid workers that were killed.
They were just bringing supplies?
They were bringing supplies. They were outside of the city, and they were killed.
I thought they're untouchable.
No, these are aid workers. So now the story is they were slaughtered by the Israelis. The Israelis said, we had nobody there, and we had nothing to do with that. Now let's let the investigation begin, and let's find out the truth in a couple of weeks or a month as to how these 21 died. If these 21 died due to the hands of terrorists, or thieves trying to steal food because they're starving or whatever it is, you can't put the blame on Israel. So bottom line, all the information coming out of that area has got to be bullshit.
I agree.
You understand? You got to take these for what they are. You got to let the investigation follow the course, and you can't believe everything that you read. Now, are Israeli soldiers killing civilians there? Probably. I agree. I don't doubt it. Yeah. Are bombs killing civilians? Probably. I don't doubt it. I mean, it's a horrible thing, but you have to realize that is the price of having a war. This is a war.
How many people are dying in Ukraine and Russia from their war?
Right.
The one thing that people get on, they come at Israel because so many people just dislike Jews. Okay, so they come at Israel and they point to this and that. Meanwhile, Israel probably is the most precise targeting of war weapons and the best technology to avoid killing more people than are the targets of what they're trying to go after. So whereas if you're in Ukraine and Russia, they're literally just sending bombs in the areas and killing mass amount of people. Both sides, okay, and you have massive amount of Russians that are dying and massive amount of Ukrainians that are dying, and zero desire from either side to come to any sort of an agreement.
Well, they had stopped. They were working towards an agreement, and then Putin just said "F it" and started bombs over Baghdad. Going after Ukraine.
Right?
Where did you hear that, Steve?
Does anyone dare
Where did you hear that, Steve?
That's what happened on last Sunday. That's what happened. Putin started attacking Ukraine when they had been talking towards peace. That's what Trump was so irritated because they're working towards peace.
He was irritated with Putin. He's saying that he's out of control. I mean, look, part of the whole thing is Ukraine obviously originally defending themselves from Putin. Putin is it's a complicated situation. Putin is a madman.
He's a dictator.
And so you have this back and forth where with crude weapons, literally crude weapons coming in and killing people. I mean, that's the situation. Listen, if Hamas came in and tomorrow said we are. Or the Palestinian people, which they're not going to be able to do, but let's say they're able to move Hamas out and said, "Hey, we want to start driving to a solution." You would move towards a solution,
and that hasn't been close to happening.
If Hamas gave a shit about their people, which they don't, the remaining hostages that are alive would be returned to Israel,
right?
And then some sort of negotiation would take place. Now,
correct. Think about the overall arching thing. What does this do in America if Hamas keeps fighting to the death on this? It draws more and more people against America. Okay,
it shouldn't have anything to do with America.
There's the left lives off this.
Yes.
The left lives off this divide to draw the more. This is about voters, Islamic voters voting on the left. Okay, you draw that divide. Okay, so they already have, for the most part, African Americans voting overwhelming majority on the left. Jewish Americans, which I don't understand, but voting overwhelmingly on the left. Okay.
Usual, yeah.
Muslim Americans starting to vote overwhelmingly on the left. Okay. And then you have Hispanics that are probably divided. You have Caucasian Americans probably, I would say,
On the right.
lean right. Okay. And then you have, Asian and Indian Americans, which are probably, I would say, is probably 50-50. I would say probably 50-50.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're. Maybe they might lean right. They're higher financially higher, right?
Yeah, socioeconomic.
And usually immigrants that have become successful, so that lends you normally to be towards the right. But it doesn't mean that. Let's say they're 50. So you have like this whole thing. This is about in America the left garnering as much divide as possible because they know that the
that's what they're using it for.
Overwhelmingly vote going back to civil rights. They know that Jewish people overwhelmingly vote going back to FDR. Okay, during the New Deal, that's when that started to come about. And so you get these groups locked in.
It's just all about politics?
Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh my God, that's sick.
Change America. How do you change America?
With a war?
Get in illegal immigrants that have no understanding of what the world, what America is about.
Why do you think that they fought? The liberals fought tooth and nail, dumping Biden, putting in Harris, dumping $1.5 billion into her campaign.
You said they didn't have a choice.
They fought tooth and nail. They used the media to their advantage. They got every media advantage there was. Every story coming out was pro Harris, anti-Trump,
100%.
because they knew, without a doubt, 100%, if Donald Trump gets into office again, he will set the liberal agenda that they worked so hard for these last 15 years back 40, 50 years.
Yes.
And that's what's happening right now. Yes. Slowly but surely, he is wiping out that agenda and he's getting back to nuts and bolts of where a country needs to be run.
So you're saying that the Israel-Hamas war helps the left? The longer it goes on.
The longer it goes on, the more sympathy that goes towards the innocents that are unfortunately dying in this war, in this conflict. Right. And so now with all these deaths, more and more money gets poured their way, more and more martyrs are created, and more terrorists are born in the Arab world.
Jesus.
Okay, see the guy from Egypt.
No-win situation. You get a no-win. Just like you have a no-win situation in the Russia-Ukraine battle. There's no win there.
I think Russia-Ukraine can eventually be solved.
Do you want Russia to win the war?
No, Russia wants basically Ukraine to be part of their country.
But that's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
Now, a section of the Donbass will be handed over.
I think
to Russia in any kind of peace negotiation.
If Zelensky gets NATO involved, I think
they can't. They can't. Russia. Any agreement, Russia says they want no NATO bases, no NATO missiles, nothing in Ukraine.
Okay.
So Ukraine has to be on their own. Why? Maybe for a future takeover 20, 30 years down the road with another war. Who knows? What it is, it's the few are making decisions that are costing the many life.
So there's only a few decisions.
And what do you get if you get college students, if you get at the highest educated schools in the country, Harvard, Yale, the quote unquote best minds in the country, all lean to the left, or go as far left as possible. What does the country become? Who's going to get? Who has the money? Yep, they go left.
They are very leftist, pushing agenda, points of power in different. Like this is narrative.
So the only positive is in 10 years, less than that, 5 years, AI will control everything and it won't matter anyway. AI is going to be like, I don't give a shit about left or right. We're killing all of you.
So you're saying that the Russia-Ukraine war, there's only a few issues that need to be solved that would stop the war. That's what you're telling me.
I think Ukraine is complicated because Ukraine doesn't want to give up that land. Russia says that's theirs. I don't know. these things, I don't know how you solve that. You know,
Yeah,
like I don't know how it gets solved.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually Ukraine's going to have to give something up. I'm guessing
they're going to lose. They're going to lose the war if it keeps going on.
How does Israel-Palestinian situation get solved?
Well,
It's
they're
never going to
they're
get
never going to lose the war,
solved.
Steve.
In
They're
power.
never going to lose. Ukraine is never going to lose the war.
You think they're just going to keep fighting?
No, because
and fighting and fighting.
NATO and the U.S. will keep dumping money into it.
Keep funding it.
They'll keep funding it.
Yeah.
Listen, they just took out 40 Russian bombers. They just took out Ukraine.
Does want some fighting? Yeah, give them that. It's
Yeah.
all about
The Ukrainians are tough. They fight. They fight.
Where these be drawn.
I mean, those are tough people. Ukrainians and Russians are tough.
40 tactical bombers. Granted, they're older bombers, but 40 tactical bombers that were used to start the bombing campaign that you just talked about 2 weeks ago, right? Putin lost his mind.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Those bombers were on an airstrip and got taken out by a box load of Ukrainian drones. So they're
funded. That NATO funded, or we funded?
I'm sure. Who knows where the money came from? But the money came from somewhere. They had this took 18 months in the planning to do this, and they ended up opening up a crate right near the airstrip and letting out all these drones that were armed with missiles, and the drones are targeting bomber after bomber after bomber on the Russian airstrip, deep inside Russia.
Jesus.
So what you have to realize is this war can go on forever.
Well, that's what Dave, I said to you, if Trump is able to solve the Russia-Ukraine war and, the Israel-Hamas war, he'll be the greatest president.
He'll be man of the year. He'll be Mount Rushmore. If he solves those things in his 4 years, he'll be Mount. I mean, listen, are they solvable?
But
yes, but they're complicated. They're complicated issues, like the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is complicated because you have a regime that is a terrorist regime.
Yeah,
and there's never been
that's what they're built like.
They voted in, which the people voted in. So it's like you want to sit there and say, "Hey, the people want peace," but like they voted in a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now they might have been coerced into it. They may have been held to gunpoint. I'm not saying
they were.
Didn't.
Sure they were.
I'm not saying they were.
If Trump does get something accomplished, right?
Imagine you were in the populace of that country, you had that influence on you, like the fuck.
I okay. Go ahead.
No.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to think of a browser. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. But say Trump gets something accomplished, right?
Yeah, I think he could end the Russia war.
Right. But so he gets in here and he gets, let's say, both conflicts. Bottom line, right? You have to look at it as, who else would have got this accomplished? People are knocking Trump. Oh, he's this, and he gives up on this, and he talks, and he's full of shit. And he's bottom line. What happened in the Arab world just a couple weeks ago when Trump showed up on a plane? Shit got done.
Yeah.
Hands got shook.
Yeah.
Deals got made.
Record deals.
Deals got made. Yes. Shit got done. Right.
Yes. That was with what, the UAE, right?
Yeah. Right. And UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, he hit them all up. You know what? He walked in. You know why they want to deal with him? Because they respect him. Yeah. Because he's always come from an angle of power, whether it be wealth and power and wealth. Power in politics, whatever it may be, he's respected. Yeah. But so now you think with Biden would have flown? What do they do when Biden flew in?
He would have fell off the plane.
They napped when he came in. They didn't even shake his hand. Yeah. They wanted nothing to do with him because he's a farce. It's a joke. Number one, they don't respect a country that wanted DEI mandates across the board. No, the Arab world doesn't respect that. The Russian world doesn't respect that. Ukraine doesn't even respect that.
Well, Ukraine.
They don't. Okay. So bottom line, what are you going to get accomplished if you're the Joe Biden
you're
walking
saying
in?
There's no DEI in Ukraine or Russia?
No. Listen, you think it's bad being gay in the Arab world? Go try being gay in Russia.
Well, that's what you said, gay for Palestine.
Yeah, try gay for Russia. Gay for Russia, they will bring that Egyptian guy over and they will flamethrow you. They will flamethrow
you with a Molotov cocktail.
Absolutely. Wow. And they think and that's why all the LGBTQs are, this country's terrible. I've been oppressed for so long. Go to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Unless you go to the U.S. or you go to like Thailand, where every third girl is a guy,
Well,
and they live that
it's
lifestyle.
tough to tell.
You're not going to be.
Gay in Germany, you'll probably okay.
Yeah. So my thing is, Trump comes in with an angle of power, and that's how you have to negotiate. So
Yes.
I do think he will get items accomplished. How fast, I don't know. How smooth, I don't know. But he's going to get things accomplished. Like you said, if he does, this is a guy who's on a different level.
Yeah.
But it won't be. No, listen,
it'll be close.
He'll be the greatest president
Of this century.
for 53% of the country.
Yeah.
The other 47% will still bitch and moan. We'll still call him the taco guy.
Yeah, but if he's able to do this, it's historic and monumental.
Right.
He'll be on Mount Rushmore.
Because there's no. You think Kamala Harris? If she was president, that she would have flown into the Arab world and
she
would have
just
welcomed
does
her.
word salad. She can't even speak.
Right, but it's not even word salad. She would have no respect whatsoever coming into any of those countries. You think she's going to sit down at the table? Hey, you know what? Let me sit down at the table with Putin and
she'd get laughed off the table.
You know, one of the other things I was going to say, like when you talk about the Arab world, if you look at UAE and you look at Saudi Arabia, okay. Those are prosperous countries. I mean, especially
and we're doing business with Saudi Arabia.
They're prosperous countries because they have a much more mild interpretation of the Quran. Okay, and a mild meaning less
Really? Okay.
Yeah, thing.
You don't build cities like they build in Dubai without having a focus on development.
Right. But although, Dave, this is where I say it's really hard to trust them.
Oh, so they're all Muslim.
I'm not saying they're easy to trust. Yes, I agree.
Or the 14 of the 16 or whatever it was terrorists that took down the World Trade Center, took down the Pentagon and the plane that they were all Saudis.
They probably talk out of they probably talk out of both sides of their mouths on things.
Correct.
There's no. I agree with you on that.
They're
right?
the best of
Osama bin Laden is Saudi.
Right. They're the best of the worst, if we have to say
he was Saudi?
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. Yeah.
I didn't know he was Saudi. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll just go around the horn. I'll give you the last word. Well, yeah, I mean, again, I went down a rabbit hole and read everything about Original Sin and CNN analyst Jake Tapper ratings for his show has gone in the toilet because of what he exposed.
He has no show anymore. He's off.
Do you think that Original Sin was accurate and depicted historically right? Or do you think that it was slanted and had a narrative behind it?
The writer of the book who followed all along is not a conservative organization.
No, Jake Tapper is not.
No. Jake Tapper slapped his name on it. Jake Tapper did none of this investigative reporting.
No, I know
he did none of this investigative reporting. The guy, the main guy
was from Axios,
right? So and it's not a really it's not a conservative.
They're not
leaning Axios. No, they're I would say they're in the middle. No, not like Newsmax. No, not whatsoever. So bottom line, you got to realize something. This guy is not going to come with all this information unless he's got proof to back it up.
Well, they were all anonymous sources. Very few people went on the record.
That is correct. But to get in, well, you're seeing one by one now. They're going to listen from Secret Service agents. The article. How about the article that said the Secret Service agent said that Biden couldn't find his way out of his own closet?
Well, there was a lot of stuff reported like that.
Right. So you have to take that for Tapper to back it up. You have to take that for
ratings. Yeah,
doesn't matter. But he has no show anymore. He's not on CNN anymore.
Oh well, they said that he had a radio show or something.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All I'm saying is right now, for him to back that up, for the guy who was basically the nemesis of Donald Trump at CNN for 4 years,
slammed Laura Trump.
Right, for doing that, and for him to back all this information up, there's got to be truth to it.
Dave, what were your thoughts? Just because I was blown away by it. I was blown away that this was allowed.
Tyler, are you eating a Turkish kebab right now in the in your unmarked press vehicle?
I'm eating chocolate-covered coffee beans right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Dave, I went down a rabbit hole.
Would you like to hear my take on that?
We're going to get to you after Dave. Dave, because I went down a rabbit hole and read all about it, and I was just sick to my stomach that this went on in our country for 4 years.
that the Biden situation. What do I think about the book?
About the book? Do you think it's truthful? The anonymous sourcing.
I haven't read the book. I don't know. So,
but you know what's been reported from the book.
I only know what's been reported.
The people who ran the country were, not Biden. He rubber stamped everything.
It was Jill, right?
It was like 4 or 5 people nicknamed the Politburo. And Biden was like, part of it, but he could only work between the hours of 10 and 3.
Yeah.
That's when he was available. And it just kind of bashed him for not doing a whole lot. And he just saying his mental acuity wasn't capable. And they could have indicted him for having classified documents at his house like Trump had at Mar-a-Lago, but they said that he was just a senile old man, so they didn't indict him. So that's I'm just curious.
I think that the look, he's senile. I mean, everybody knew it the whole entire time. Like the thing that bothers me about the left in general, they look, a lot of politicians lie on both sides, okay? The left is willing to die on the sword for every single lie they make. They will tell you it's like you catching your girlfriend cheating in bed with a guy and her telling you, no, he's just a friend.
No, it's not there. Yeah.
I mean, what? You know?
Dave, the quote, the most damning quote that I read was they wanted Biden to run and win, and then we'll run the country. We'll just prop him up every now and then to show he's alive for 4 years, but the Democrats would have power and run the country. That was quoted.
I don't know how the left is even. I don't even know how Democrats are even. I mean, they're so and they hate conservatives so much.
To that point, yes.
It's honestly, it's sad. It's so sad to me that that it's at a place where I mean, listen, the bottom line is they made it that way. That's the way I look at it.
But no one's going to be held accountable. That's what angers me.
Never going to be.
No one's going to be held accountable.
No way.
Like Frank said, nothing's going to happen to the politicians that were involved with it.
Nothing.
I agree 100%. Nothing is going to happen.
They had this figurehead president. They ran the country, lied about it, nothing, and no repercussions. Okay, Tyler, you get the last take here.
I mean,
political correspondent.
Everything you just said, like all the failures from the other side, we should focus on looking at ways to set foundations for the next 5-10 years.
We absolutely do, because that's absolutely critical.
Well, who are we gonna
empower?
Who are we gonna get behind now? DeSantis?
Yeah, we don't know. JD Vance,
DeSantis is their long term right now.
But the left doesn't have anyone either.
Yeah, but we have to start identifying who's gonna be the.
You think right now we do?
What?
You think right now that's imperative to find the next person?
Yeah, actually it is.
Really?
Long term, really is.
Is that true, Frank? I mean, is it that important to look that far ahead?
I don't know. I mean, I think you got to get to the midterm and then start to figure. You got to start to see what has worked these 2 years. Yeah, you got to see what has worked and what hasn't in the 2 years, and then maybe you can develop a strategy of who you want to take over once Trump is done with his. It's kind of still early. And they got to get these. They got to get the bill passed.
6 months.
They got to get the bill passed. They got to get the budget passed. When the budget is passed, everything will fall into line. You're going to see.
Inflation.
I think you're. Listen,
the market will be better.
The report that just came out right now also was China's factory production took a huge nosedive in this quarter for them right now. Unexpected nosedive, down to levels they haven't seen since 2022, which was during COVID.
Right.
Reason being is tariffs.
Right.
Now no one's buying China products from factories.
Off.
They aren't making it. Their production is in a nosedive. I predict China will come to the table and stay at the table. They're just supposedly they talk today, but I think you're going to see a deal made soon between China and the U.S. We can outlast this. China cannot.
No, I think we can.
China cannot.
Too. All right. Well, this has been a very, very violent, a very hostile rebel republic.
Not really, but okay.
No, it has. I feel hostility all around. A lot of Islamic
You're
hostility.
just because you got attacked a little bit. That's all.
I didn't get attacked. You think I got attacked? I'm Catholic.
Tyler, if you start driving right now,
Tyler looks like he's in the bushes. He looks like he's in the
distance from Istanbul to Cairo should take you a week's worth of driving. We will see you there next Monday night.
Oh, we will.
Tyler's our political correspondent. He's on site. He's putting his life at risk for all of us. So, Coach Schumann.
Steve, I'm curious. Have you ever been to Lebanon?
No, my cousins
no,
have. My cousins have.
Cousins have.
I have not. No.
Steve, I've been closer to Istanbul than you.
I don't think that we can fly there.
Also, Tyler, on your vehicle, as you have press inscribed on both sides of your panel, right there, because you are part of the press.
Tyler does look like a Navy SEAL
I think you need the translation in the Arab world to press is no shoot. So I would put no shoot on either side of your car right there, and you may get through unscathed.
So, Dave, if you
have beautiful Lebanese women.
Lebanese women are gorgeous when they're unclothed.
I know some. You're a single guy. You might,
Dave, I just want to know. We did Husky Huddle, Moneyline, and Rebel Republic. You were bored during the majority shows. How would you rank them as far as your interest level?
Actually, I thought Sports Moneyline. I was pretty interested in what we did today.
You got into, yeah.
I mean, like, I'm always interested in politics. Just because I think, all the sides of it. But I would say, actually, I mean, look, the panel. I would say this is one, man. Number two, Sports Moneyline and Husky Huddle is a distant.
You hated Husky Huddle.
There's nothing going on. There's no football to talk about.
I was trying to talk about football. I was trying to make news, and you just kept giving me, oh yeah,
It's not your fault. There's literally nothing to talk about.
There's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to talk.
Steve, should we bring Dave on for the UFC pay-per-view reviews?
No, Dave just agrees with you. No, I don't want Dave on for our pay-per-view reviews. All he does is agree with whatever you say.
Oh, as far as UFC?
Yeah.
Really? Is that necessary?
What
is that necessary?
We're gonna end with some Arab instrumental.
Oh, that sounds good.
Now you're being racist. Racist told me to me. My friends are being racist. That's nice. Thank you.
Actually, I love some of that music.
You love it. You love the music. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Steve, I'll rip your shoulder out. You filthy Lebanese.
It's yeah. We love it. It's beautiful. So
just sign out,
Tyler. We're gonna do we'll do UFC 317 predictions tomorrow or Wednesday. Can't wait for that. All right, it's gonna be a good show. And Frank's got to play the fucking Arab music to talk to me. Thank you, Frank.
Turn that shit off.
Tyler King. Wait.
Frank, I've had enough.
Mocking the Arabs.
I know.
Coach Schumann.
There may be
pleasure
someone
as
coming
always.
after Frank tonight.
And Tyler, you stay safe out there in Istanbul.
I love the Arab world.
He's got his car backed right up in there. This has been Rebel Republic. I don't know what else to say. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade.
Make
hummus
oranges
and make hummus and listen to Arab music and read the Quran. You guys are all assholes.